Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm the owner of Wild Willow Lotion and Potions, LLC, a self-care and metaphysical boutique where we believe self-love is magic. In this video, we are going to go over a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own hand-rolled natural incense cones from our Mabon-inspired incense making kit. Each kit will include everything you need to make 2 batches of this ingredient recipe. So without further ado, let's get into this recipe. Let's get started with step number 1. It is preferable that you use a glass or non-stick clear bowl of some sort. We will be mixing together all of the dry ingredients. In your kit, there are 2 measuring spoons. There is a larger one, which is 1 teaspoon, and then there is a smaller one, which is 1/8 of a teaspoon. So we are going to start with the larger teaspoon, and we are going to put in 1 leveled teaspoon of sandalwood powder. It's important to level your ingredients. You can use the stick included in your kit, or you can use your fingers. But it's important that it is leveled and measured. We're going to do 2 of the sandalwood powder. Next, we are going to add 1 leveled teaspoon of tabu no ki, also known as mako powder. Then we are going to add our aromatics. The sandalwood powder was our base ingredient. The mako acts as a base and a binder ingredient. You learn all of these in my natural making incense class. Next, we are going to use the smaller teaspoon, the 1/8 teaspoon, and we are going to use 1/8 leveled teaspoon of apple powder. Apple powder can be dehydrated from your own kitchen, powdered up in a blender or a coffee grinder. Next, we're going to do 1/8 teaspoon of rose powder. It's rose buds all ground up into very fine powder. Again, leveled off the teaspoon to make sure all your measurements are correct. And last, we are going to, for our dry ingredients, we are going to measure out 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is a strong aromatic, so if you don't want to use as much cinnamon, that's okay too. So now, you gotta mix it. Mix it until it's all one color. Mixy, mixy, mixy until it's well combined. You don't want to see any pieces of one color sticking out. You want to make sure it's all well incorporated and combined in there until it looks something like that, all about one color. Once it's all mixed and well combined, then you can move on to the next step. And the next step is adding water. We want to add water very slowly, very carefully, not to over moisten and over wet your dough, your mixture. An over wet mixture can be sticky, hard to manage, hard to mold, and it will tend to droop as it's drying. And it's easy to add more water, but it's harder to take it out. And in your kit, these are included. I have it filled up to 10 milliliters of water. I drop it in there till about 5, and then I use my mixing stick and I start mixing it in. And at first it'll look like it doesn't want to mix, But you just keep mixing. Just keep mixing, and eventually that surface tension will break and it will start to blend together, as you see here. And it'll start to clump up together. If you need more water, put more water. Carefully, a few drops at a time. You don't need a lot at a time. Once it gets to the point where it's pretty chunky like this, this is the point where you can't tell if it's dry, if it's wet enough, or if it's too dry. You actually have to start mixing with your fingers. This is where I wear gloves. That's just personal preference. So you take your fingers like you would be mixing a ball of dough, a ball of cookie dough. You push firmly with your fingers, push that water into the mixture, pushing and squeezing until it all comes together. Oh, that's smelling so good. Smell the rose and the cinnamon. Yep, still need some more water. I've measured this out pretty well to where 10 milliliters is pretty much on point for what you need for this recipe. Now, that can vary based on how humid your environment is, how dry your environment is, and the ingredients that you use. You can need more water, or you could use less water. Either way, you just keep mixing. You can see that it's starting to form a good solid ball. You'll know, a good trick I've learned is you'll know that it's solid and it's ready to go when the bowl is clean. It no longer drops anything, or no crumbs are falling off of it, but it's not dripping or anything. Let's see, just a little bit more water, a couple drops. Push, squeeze. You're just kneading it like you would be kneading bread dough. All right, that's feeling good. It's getting somewhere. I like to clean off the bowl, get every last little bit I can. Make it a uniform dough. So see how mine's still a little bit on the crumbly side. You can see the crumbs still kind of falling off of it a little bit. A tad bit more water. I still have a little bit left in there, so I haven't used the whole 10 milliliters yet. A couple more drops on top should be just fine. Oh, that's perfect. Yes. Now I have mixed it. The bowl is clean. There's no residue in that bowl. The dough picks it all right up. So just mix it a little bit more with your hands. Make it malleable, like you're playing with Play-Doh. Once it's at the consistency of about Play-Doh, where you can squish it, move it apart. This is the basis of sticks, cones, curls, coils. Any self-combustible incense is usually made with this form of dough. So take the small scoop. I take a heaping scoop of it, so probably about that much, about half a teaspoon. Roll it in a ball into my hand, in the palm of my hand, just like this. And then take one finger, push down, either at the tip of your finger, is what I like to do, just the tip, and start rolling lightly back and forth in the palm of your hand. And that starts to create the cone shape. The longer and skinnier the cone is, thinner and longer it'll burn. The shorter and fatter the cone is, the thicker and shorter it'll burn. So here we go. You have now rolled your first incense cone. I'd say lay it on somewhere flat to dry. Leave it there for 48 hours to dry before lighting. Do the same process with the rest of the dough. From Run Recipe, you should be able to get about 4 to 6 depending on the size of your cones. And if you mess up, you don't like the shape, just squish it, try again. You want to make sure there's no seams and it's a nice, smooth, even texture. Stand it up to dry and wait 48 hours. And there you have it. 5 simple hand-rolled incense cones. Well, I hope you liked this video, enjoyed it, and found it helpful, somewhat informative. And if you bought the kit, then this should help you know how to use it. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to drop me a message and I'll get back to you promptly. You can follow me on all my socials on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Follow me on my website at wildwillowlotionpotions.com. Thank you guys. Have a great day.